This is the Zac Anesbury Show.
Welcome. On today's podcast clip, we have Professor Billy Sung from Curtin University, Perth, Australia. You do quite a lot outside of your own university, which is obviously Curtin because it's on your shirt. Although those of you it's the most of us who listen on audio, so you're part of what's known as the ANZMAC Executive Committee. Some people, I have spoken about the ANZMAC conference on the podcast before, but for those who haven't listened to the podcast before, it's generally, you'd be in a much better position to provide an overview for the conference. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I hope I don't get in trouble for mis-explaining ANZMAC. But ANZMAC, I think, just to get my acronym right, it should be Australia and New Zealand Marketing Academy. So the ANZMAC, basically, it's the peak association for marketing academics in Australia and New Zealand. Generally, we actually nowadays have membership around the world, generally in the Pacific. So Australia and New Zealand is definitely our main base, since we are ANZMAC, Australia and New Zealand Marketing Academy. We have our annual conference generally in Australia or New Zealand. So 2 years in Australia, and then the next year will be in New Zealand. So this year it is in New Zealand, Otago. Next year it will be in Tasmania, so on and so forth. So really what ANZMAC really stands for is really a association that is for marketing academics. So academics that are in the business school, generally teaching marketing or management, a kind of an association or peak body that represents them. And we basically organize a conference, and also we also have our own journal. So the AMJ, or Australasian Marketing Journal, which is our ANZMAC's journal. And so basically we manage that, and we provide, I guess, support and advocacy for marketing academics in the Greater Pacific region.
Yeah, so I think it's been around for quite a while. Do you know how many of those conferences you've been to?
I think I have been to every single one of them since 2013, apart from maybe one or two.
Yeah,
it's funny because I remember there was an ANZMAC in Griffith University a long time ago. I think 2015, and I actually missed that one.
Oh no!
It's actually in my hometown. Yes.
I guess it's less exciting when it's in your own state, though, isn't it?
Yes, I think I actually sneaked in, and I think I jumped into one session, and I didn't register, so I better leave.
Yeah, fair enough. So my first one was in Western Australia, funnily enough, in 2011. Yeah. And then we kind of got one per degree that we did. So I did, honours, and then I went once during my master's. So I missed the Griffiths one because I think that was during my off year for master's. I was lucky enough to get funding for 2 of my PhD, and then I think I've been to every one except for the ones that were basically disrupted for COVID, and we couldn't fly into Melbourne. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I think it's a great conference. I mean, the best part about conferences are the networking and seeing people. And I'm sure you would attest to, when you keep going year on year out, you keep seeing the same people, and it's so nice to catch up with them and hear about their family and their life and their career and build collaborations and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm a big fan of ANZMAC.
Definitely.
So how long have you been? So you've obviously a big advocate of the conference. So you've joined the executive board. Did you want to run us through that process about how you went from member to thinking, I'm going to try to give back and be part of the executive committee?
Yeah, so the executive members are basically the members that are elected by other members to kind of run ANZMAC. So I think it was my memory is a bit murky here. Probably 2018, I think. 2018, 2019. Every year, every elected member can serve a 3-year term, and they are the policy or the constitution of ANZMAC stipulate that they can be re-elected after 3 years for another term. So the maximum serving term continuously is 6 years if you get elected twice. So basically, pretty much every 1 or 2 years, there would be a space in the executive member that comes up. Now, in 2018, 2019, I'm already, I think, in the ANZMAC community for a while. So I started off when I was second year of PhD. I actually noticed that, look, there is quite a few things that I think as a marketing discipline or from a marketing academic perspective, there could be things that we could do to better support, academics. Especially at that time, I was possibly, I think, a senior lecturer. And so as an ECR, you have that drive, you have that passion to go, okay, I'm going to make a difference. And, we're ECR and we need to, better support the PhD students, better support the ECR, better support, the transition from doing an honors for marketing to either a master by research or MPhil or PhD. And also, I don't know if we were going to cover this, but as a ECR, it is a very tough period in your research career, whereby you are pretty much expected to be a Superman or Superwoman, to be a great teacher, a great researcher, and still give back to your discipline, your university, and your discipline as a whole. Mm-hmm. And so at that time, I had that passion of going, okay, well, ANZMAC is an advocacy group and a peak body of marketing academics. So I'm going to put up my hand and see if anyone votes for me to go in. At that time, I was, I don't think a lot of people knows me, but luckily enough, a lot of members actually saw my kind of statement and they maybe have resonated with it and voted for me. And so I got voted in. And so it is a very transparent and independent kind of election process. So you have to nominate yourself or someone have to nominate you. You have to write a statement. That statement gets passed around through electronically to all the members. Every member have a vote, and there's an independent voting system. They vote for whoever they select or they prefer, and the one with the highest vote, I guess, win the election. For the upcoming round, I think we have 2 or 3 spaces, and there's a stipulation. So basically, you can't have more than one academic from the same institution. So if I am a member or executive member at Curtin University, no other staff or full-time staff in Curtin University can go into the executive members, just so that we have a representation of pretty much different perspective. And so that's the executive member in ANZMAC.
Yeah, I'm very well aware of the no dual member policy. Thanks, Lara. No, I'm very happy for Lara. She works super hard and definitely is going to represent everyone.
A big shout out to Zac, who pretty much is the man behind our social media platform. And we definitely need to have a big shout out to Zac, because Zac's posts are on point and definitely keeping all the social media engagement for the whole ANZMAC community. We're getting quite a lot of likes and shares.
Awesome. Thanks heaps, Billy. Yeah, well, I'd love to see that. Actually, I'll be there at your executive meeting, or not the executive one, but the general meeting in December. So I'm keen to see how those stats have actually performed year on year. So yeah, thank you for that. I really, really appreciate the acknowledgement. So you're part of the big communications team, as you alluded to there, and just one of your brackets must be social media. What other parts of the communication, all the newsletters and stuff, is that under your umbrella with obviously Paul Harrigan from UWA and Lara Stocky? I think it's the 3 of you guys who are the communications core, right?
Yes. So within ANZMAC, it's actually quite interesting. So although we get assigned, or we actually pick our own as to which subcommittee you want to go into. So obviously I put up my hand for the communication, which kind of we are actually more so looking at the web, taking care of the website, and then the social media, and I guess the communication with internal members. But the newsletter is actually done by the president, so Linda. So yes, so basically that's actually doesn't fall into our portfolio. However, Yes. When you're in something like ANZMAC, especially when you're an executive member, you can see that most executive member has put up their hand for other subcommittees. So, for instance, I'm the strategy subcommittee, which looks at what are some of the strategy for to push forward ANZMAC or the marketing discipline or marketing academic discipline. I help a little bit with conference also where I could, so on and so forth. So it's really the executive members are actually a very collegial kind of community, and it's really, as Zac, academics, during semester they're probably busy teaching, trying to balance research, and then this whole administrative kind of burden from a university. And then you also, if you're in ANZMAC, you also have ANZMAC. And so sometimes we cover for each other. So for instance, we know that someone, couldn't do a particular administrative work for ANZMAC. Whoever that is free will probably put up their hand and say, "Hey, look, I'm free for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Let me have a go at it, and then I'll draft something up before we go in and finalize it together, so on and so forth."
Oh, that's really, really nice to hear. So you can do 2 stints of 3 years, almost like a president of the United States, where you can't get reelected more than twice. Pretty cool constitutional thing there. So does that mean then do you have opportunities to become like vice president like Paul or president like Linda, or are they currently serving during their 3 years or their 6 years, I suppose?
From my memory, so I am actually serving my 6 years. I think Paul is also serving his 6 years. So basically, once you're elected as a executive member, then the executive member will actually meet. So generally we meet, nowadays we generally meet on average once every 2 to 3 months. But we also have our annual, like the big annual meeting. And so when you get elected, you would go into that year's, always coincide with the conference where we get everyone together in the executive team, and we'll actually discuss who will be the treasury, who is the vice president and president, and secretary. Because the president and secretary have the signatory role, the treasury has the finance signatory role with the secretary, so on and so forth. So basically, we would need to either nominate ourselves or nominate others, and basically do a voting. So we basically normally we have, I think, from my memory, I remember it's 10 to 12 executive members. So currently, I think we have 9 from my memory. Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's voted within the people that we've voted, and it's voted by the other executive members within. Okay, cool. I like learning all of these things. I think it's really fascinating.
Hey guys, it's Zac Anesbury here with just a couple of quick reminders. If you've enjoyed today's podcast, then make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. There are plenty more interviews to come with some of the world's leading marketing academics and practitioners. You do not want to miss these. In the meantime, if you're looking for another way to connect, then follow me on Twitter at Zac Anesbury. That is ZACANESBURY. For my take on the marketing issues of the day.
That was the Zac Anesbury Show.